Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Tuesday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter at Sports Talk Matt. We are currently 1-0 on the day. We got Slovenia right minus 14 for the podcast. We've got 3 plays. It is currently 8:30 in between games, 8:30 Pacific time. We're in between games here between Slovenia and now the USA taking on a tough team in Spain, and then we got 2 more games coming up. So because of that reason, I thought because it's a funky day, I thought I might give you my last 2 NFL win totals. I may have one more, but I thought, why not we do just an NFL day today, because it's kind of a funky week. We're just kind of counting down till we get to football. We got football on Thursday, then we got a full weekend of NFL preseason games to talk about and get into, and I haven't even started in on my college football stuff with you guys. The Ole Miss bet's the only one I've made so far, over 7.5 wins for Ole Miss. So I thought I'd give you 2 plays that I like here for wins, and it's interesting because when I did this for the Bengals, you guys had a lot of comments on YouTube about what your thoughts were. And I have kind of like a general thumb that if everybody agrees with me in the YouTube comment section, I tend to get angry, and I think it's a bad bet. So I like it when you guys are against me, or at least 1 or 2 of you are like, that's a stupid bet. Good, okay? I hope that comes. I hope you answer when I tell you these 2 bets. I hope you say, oh, Matt, that's just, come on, man, that's a bad bet. Okay, that's good. I want naysayers. I don't want everyone on the one side, on the same side. I don't want everyone going like, yeah, this is what I want to do. So you can take the BetMGM offer and bet a future, but I think the better bet would be to take the play I'm going to give you on the Hall of Fame game coming up here on Thursday night. I'm going to do it here today just because I think the number might move, and I don't know if it's going to go up or down, but I want to get in on it now just in case, and so you can use it for the BetMGM offer. You get a $20 bet, $100, win or lose, guaranteed in free wagers from BetMGM with the promo code JUICE100 when you sign up for a new account at BetMGM or on the BetMGM app where it's available. And you guys can do so with the promo code JUICE100 to give us credit for sending you over there to BetMGM. And if you bet $20 on the Hall of Fame game and I miss it, you get $100 in free wagers. So why not? It's pretty cool. Okay. So as I said, we're 1-0. We got 3 plays to go here for us. Spain plus 12.5. DraftKings closed at 13.5. That kind of bums me out a little bit. Could have gotten a better number since I can't get access to DraftKings plays. But, oh well, 12.5, hopefully it's good enough. I think Spain might win the game outright. If they do, we cash that plus 800 wager, and that's a beautiful thing. So, who knows? Team USA women's soccer lost to Canada. Team USA softball lost to Japan. We have not done well in the Olympics. In the team competitions, we've not done well. Team USA lost to Russia in women's gymnastics, so we haven't done well. So maybe it's time for Spain to beat Team USA here tonight, and we cash that plus 800 wager on top of the Spain plus 12.5. So it could be a very profitable night if that were to happen. I don't think it does, but I think Team USA, I'm leaning on the under. The under's at 180.5, I think, for that game. I still like the under in that game as it continues to climb. People in the public are betting the over. I still like the under in that game. So, all right, let's get to the NFL. 2 NFL futures for win totals I'm going to give you, and then 1 play for the Hall of Fame game. I probably will have more than just 1 play, but this is the 1 play that I'm going to have for you guys for the Hall of Fame game coming up on Thursday. But let's start with the Tennessee Titans. Now, coming up for the Sharps Report, you're going to hear myself and Alan Bell, who is based in Nashville. Alan Bell of 24/7 Sports and CBS Sportsline. He is the guest for the Sharps Report. It will drop on Wednesday morning, our hour-long conversation about everything sports gambling, and we talk about the Tennessee Titans. And this is a bet that I've been looking and I've been eyeballing, and Alan basically talked me into this bet and said, this is a really good bet to make. The next bet I'll tell you about, I've already made. The Titans bet I made today. Tennessee Titans, 9.5 wins. I wasn't sold until the injury to Carson Wentz, and then I was sold. Let's go through the schedule for the Tennessee Titans. Now remember, they're going to have to replace some weapons on the offense, okay, but they brought in Julio Jones. How well will Julio Jones play in year 1? We'll see. Ryan Tannehill, big year for him. Derrick Henry, absolute beast. Offensive line, stay healthy, got to block, got to keep Tannehill upright so he can get the ball out to his receivers, but he's got some new weapons. Defense, Mike Vrabel is going to have to get this defense in order. They're going to have to be able to stop people more than they did last year because I don't think their offense is going to be as explosive as last year. But this is a team, there are 17 games. The win total is set at 9.5, all right? So let's just do the math. Against the Houston Texans, how many wins? 2. Okay? Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, how many wins? 2. There's 4. Do they win both games against the Colts? Is that crazy? I mean, let's go through it, okay? Let's go through their schedule. They open up week number 1, Arizona Cardinals coming in. I mean, look, that's a tough game for the Cardinals. The Titans are going to run the ball like crazy on Arizona's defense. I say that's a win. Week 1, that's a win, 1-0. At Seattle in week 2. Okay, tough game. You can say that's a loss. Here's the Colts in week 3. Who's the quarterback? It's not going to be Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is not playing in September. I firmly believe that he's out for the first month of the season for the Colts. And who are they going to bring in? Okay, maybe they make a play and they make their locker room all crazy and they go get Nick Foles. Maybe. But that's still going to be icky and weird and crazy. I mean, Carson Wentz hates that guy. We know that. Carson Wentz can't get rid of this dude. Every time he gets hurt, here comes Nick Foles. So, no. Colts, win. That's a 2-1 start, okay? At the Jets, win. 3 wins. Jacksonville, 4 wins. Buffalo, probably a loss. KC, probably a loss. At Indy, who's the quarterback? Is it Carson Wentz? I don't know, but let's just go ahead and say that's a loss. Okay, there's still 4 wins. At the Rams, let's say that's a loss. Okay, fine, that's a loss. And there's no guarantee there, by the way. That could be a win. Saints come in, and the Saints are outdoors in November. Okay, that's a really interesting game. Let's just say they win that game. Okay, that's 5. Texans 6. At the Patriots, okay, not great, but then they play up against. They have the bye week. At the Patriots could be a tough game. They could win that game. That's potential, depending on who's playing quarterback and where they are. But you look at the rest of the schedule, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, San Francisco at home, the Miami Dolphins at home, and at the Houston Texans. They can win 10 games. And guess what I have here in Vegas? You got to shop this. But over 9.5 wins is plus 105 for the Seattle Seahawks. Sorry, for the Tennessee Titans. If the Titans go 6-0 in the division, which is very, very possible, okay, but even to go 5-1, they need to find 5 more wins here. I see 5 wins on this schedule. They're going to be competitive with a bunch of these teams that are coming in. Pittsburgh, San Francisco, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, the Bills, the Chiefs. Tough games, but they can beat these teams. Absolutely, they can beat Seattle at Seattle. Absolutely. This team can win 11, 12 games. There's 17 games on the schedule for the Tennessee Titans. They run the football. They play well enough defense. And if Ryan Tannehill stays healthy, man, I get plus 105 on this. Now, the Westgate in Vegas is at minus 110. Circa Sports in Vegas is plus 105. So you can shop around and get better numbers there. I'm taking the plus 105. I think the Titans win 10 games. I really do. I think 10-7 is very possible for the Titans, and they might even go 11-6, given where they are, their schedule, their home games, who they're playing at home, and the fact that the division is so darn weak. Can they beat the Bills at home? Of course they can beat the Bills at home. Could they beat the Chiefs at home? Of course they could beat the Chiefs at home. These are marquee monster football games. Could they lose them? Of course they could. But even when they lose these games, they still have a chance. They can open up 5-0, take it on Buffalo. It's very possible out of the gate. Titans are 5-0. And then we need 5 more wins the rest of the way from week 6 on. Absolutely. Beating the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Colts, the Jets, and the Jaguars. You think that's hard? I don't think that's hard. I think it's very, very possible. In fact, it might even be likely that the Titans do that. Then they need 5 more wins the rest of the way. And they got 2 games coming up with the Texans. They have got games left with Jacksonville. I mean, yes. I mean, 100%. I love this bet. Over 9.5, 10 wins for the Titans at plus 105 for a full 1-unit bet coming in here on the Titans. Season win total here over 9.5. Okay? Second bet. This is a bet I made after an interview I did with the sideline reporter for the Atlanta Falcons on my radio show, who we were going through the schedule, and he made a really, really good point. Now, the juice on this has changed a little bit, and it's kind of interesting. Circus Sports has an alternative over 8.5 if you want to roll the dice a little bit here with the Falcons to win 9 games. But I bet 7.5. And I laid the minus 130 on the Atlanta Falcons to win more than 7.5 games. You might kind of recoil here and go, wait, what? Okay, now listen to me for a second, okay? Week 1, Philadelphia is a mess, and the Falcons are at home. Arthur Smith, new head coach coming in. You've got Matt Ryan back. You've got some decent talent on this team, okay? I know Julio just left, but you have Calvin Ridley, you got Tajae Sharp, you've got Cordell Patterson, you got some weapons here, okay? You're going to run the ball with Mike Davis, and having Matt Ryan's a big deal, keeping him healthy, but here comes Kyle Pitts, right? What does the rookie look like? How big of an impact could this guy have with a tight end spot? He's supposed to be an absolute beast. He could be really good. The defense also could take a big step forward here for this team. New offensive coordinator, new head coach, new outlook, and they need some of the younger players to step up and play well. They got to stay healthy like every other team. But the schedule is interesting. So we got to get 8 wins here out of the Atlanta Falcons. They take on Philadelphia, okay? That's a win, week 1. Then they're going to get crushed by Tampa. Okay, that's fine. They have at the Giants, home for Washington, home for the New York Jets. They're going to open 4-1. I mean, I really feel comfortable saying that. They're going to open 4-1. They get to the bye week, which, by the way, I hate the bye being where it is. Week 6 is a horrible, with a 17-game schedule, week 6 is horrible for the Falcons with the bye week. But I think 4-1 is very, very likely. They'll beat Philadelphia at home. They'll have a tough run with the Giants, but the Giants are a game that they should win. Washington at home and the Jets are at home. They should win both those games. Now, Washington's going to be improved, so it's going to be a fight there, but I do think the Falcons should win that game, and I think they beat the Jets. Now, they're going to have some hype. They'll be 4-1 going to the bye, and they'll feel all big about themselves. It'll all be, a bunch of fool's gold, but all we need is 4 more wins after week 6 if this were to happen, okay? They've got a Carolina team that is rebuilding. Now, I get it. You're going to have a new quarterback there in Sam Darnold, and you have a healthy running game, which is going to be difficult to stop Christian McCaffrey. But I think Carolina's going through a big changeover here. Year 1 went better than expected under Matt Rule. I'm not sure if year 2 is going to be much better. At Miami is probably a loss. Home for Carolina needs to be a win. That's a game they need to win. That's 5. At New Orleans, well, okay, let's think. What is New Orleans going to be? I'm on 9.5 over, right? So I like New Orleans, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like New Orleans. After that, let's say they lose that game. After that, it's at Dallas. You guys know how I feel about Dallas already. I haven't made that bet yet, and I may make that bet for Dallas to miss the postseason. I just don't think Dallas is going to win the division, and I don't think everyone is talking about CeeDee Lamb's going to be insane, and oh my God, this offense, and blah. Well, if you can't throw the football, if the quarterback can't throw, yippee, great. You got this awesome arm quarterback who can't throw the football because his arm's banged up, okay? So I want to see more about Dak, but I'm not high on Dallas. I think that could be a win on the road at Dallas for the Falcons. That could happen. So now we're sitting there at 6 wins, okay? Home for the Patriots. Well, they can beat the Patriots if the Patriots are having a rough season, but they don't need to. At Jacksonville, a game they got to win. Now they're at 7, okay? They're at 7 wins in week 12. They've got Tampa, at Carolina, at San Francisco, home for Detroit, at Buffalo, and home for New Orleans. That's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's going to be an easy end of the season. However, at Carolina and home versus Detroit is all we would need to get to 8 wins. And it's the NFL. You know, funky, freaky, weird things happen all the time. You're telling me in week 12, I need 1 win going down the stretch? That's all I need is 1 darn win from the Falcons if the schedule goes the way that I think it's going to go? Yep, I'll lay the minus 130. Full unit, 7.5 over. Atlanta Falcons, over 7.5 wins. We're going to 8 wins. It's an 8-9 season. That's not a good season, by the way. Okay, you went 8-9. Woohoo! It's not good. And in the division, it's also not good because Tampa's in your division and the Saints are in your division. And I like the Saints to go over. Okay, so I like over 7.5 wins for the Atlanta Falcons, and I like over 9.5 wins at plus money. Titans to win 10, Atlanta to win 8. Full unit bets on both of those coming up here for the season. All right. So just to recap all the plays that we've made so far, those two go along with the Raiders over 6.5, The Bengals over 6.5 at plus 105. The Steelers under 8.5. And the Saints over 9.5 wins at plus 120. We got the Saints at plus 120 over 9.5 wins there, okay? So those are 6 bets, all futures. That's probably it for me in the futures market. That's a little bit more than I normally get into, but I don't like betting futures all that much, but I felt like this year was a cool opportunity to kind of maybe have a little bit more committed in the futures market and bet teams, and we can watch teams throughout the entire year and get into it and have a good time with it. I like those plays. We have a college football play, obviously, with Ole Miss over 7.5 wins. I may have another one of those college football plays coming up at some point before they kick off, but I'm just so jazzed to bet football and so jazzed to have football back. This year's going to be awesome with fans in the stands, even though last year, I know Brady won it, and I know it was football, but it was a Mickey Mouse year. I'm not trying to take away anything from Tampa, but it such was a Mickey Mouse year. It really was. I mean, no fans, weird travel, distractions galore, no training camp. This is real, right? We got camp, we got a countdown, we got the juice up and rolling. The Daily Juice is, back then, no one really knew about the Daily Juice. we weren't up and running. Now we're up and running, like full blown, like let's go up and running. So this is really fun, and I just can't wait to get into it. I just absolutely cannot wait to get into it. So those are 6 bets. That's probably going to be it from a future perspective for me for the NFL. But let's talk about the Hall of Fame game, because of course we're betting the Hall of Fame game. I mean, come on, of course. Now we're betting half units. Okay, I'm not betting full units on preseason football, but I am going to bet this. So here are some numbers for the Hall of Fame game. It's Dallas against Pittsburgh. Dallas is bringing nobody. Pittsburgh is playing nobody. Okay, that can be problematic, by the way. Okay, that can be really, really problematic because you can have backups who want their glory and then want to get in there and they want to play hard. Okay, the Steelers are favored because Dallas isn't playing anybody. Steelers are minus 1.5. Okay, the total, shop around. Okay, in Vegas it's 33. It may go up. It's very possible that people are going to go, oh my gosh, bet the over 33 points, way too little. Okay, however, I think this is going to be a really badly and poorly played football game. It's going to be sloppy. There's going to be penalties all over the place. Now, historically speaking, when it comes to the total, it's not like an automatic where you're like, oh, yep, 100%, you go ahead and bet under. The Bet Labs came up over, so the favorites are 6-5-3 over the last 14 games in the Hall of Fame game. Not huge, right? The lowest point spread over the last 14 years was a 31.5 that was Washington the Colts in 2008. It also had the largest spread of the game. The biggest total was 37 back in the 2012 Hall of Fame game between Arizona and New Orleans. Washington did cover that big spread back in that year. It was a 30-16 final, so 46 points got scored in that. Okay, so they covered that 4.5 and the over. But the total over the last 14 years, the over is 8-6. Okay, so historically, there's been more points than people really kind of think of. But I was talking to Dave Sherapan on my radio show, and he said 100%. He got on a table and said, "Do not bet the over in this game." It's the first preseason game in a long time. We didn't have preseason last year. It's still pretty early in camp. The Cowboys aren't sending anybody, and Pittsburgh's not playing anybody either. The total's 33. You might find a 33.5, but tonight I bet 33 in Vegas at minus 110, and I bet the under. Half a unit under on the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. If it does go up, great, okay? But it might go down because the pros are going to bet the under here. The Joes are going to be on the over. It may go down, so I just figured, look, let's take the 33. Let's jump on it now. And let's not get kind of screwed. Because if it goes below 32, I don't like that. Okay, if it goes to 31, 31.5, it goes to 32 even, I don't like that. I want it over 32. So you're just talking about key numbers and talking about where we are from a scoring perspective. And, 31, 32, those are numbers you want to, playing overs, you want to get over that number. Playing under rather, you want to get over those numbers. So 33 is the total, half a unit. Pittsburgh, Dallas, under 33 is the play that I made, and it hopefully rises for you guys and you get a better number than I got. But I'm taking under 33 for Pittsburgh and Dallas in what will be an ugly, sloppy, slow, boring football game. And let's hope for like a 10-7 win here for one of these two teams in the Hall of Fame game. And hopefully the under comes in easily for us on Thursday, and we start off the NFL season betting for NFL season betting on a good note. I'm not going to go crazy, by the way, on the preseason, but I'm going to have plays because it's football. My goodness gracious. Betting baseball right now or betting preseason football, I will bet preseason every damn time when it comes to it. All right? So we're going over 7.5 wins for the Falcons, over 9.5 wins for the Titans, and under 33 for the Hall of Fame game. Those are the plays for us here on a Tuesday. I'll recap it in the Discord channel. I will have a Red Sox bet once we get closer to the game. I'll take the other half a unit and I'll make it inside the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, or underneath me here on YouTube, the link to get in. I will put the Red Sox bet on there. And if I lose it, then I can't do this Red Sox thing anymore. But Red Sox Tigers, I want to see who's playing. I want to see what the lineup's going to be. There's some things that need to work itself out that aren't available as of yet for Red Sox Tigers. So once I do that, I'll drop the other half a unit on that game coming up in the Discord channel later on today here on bettingpros.com/chat and on bettingpros.com. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice podcast brought to you by BetMGM right here on bettingpros.com.